It's the most wonderful time of the year. Whatever. Holidays, end of year. Let's recap on the Learning Geeks podcast starting now.
Hey, so I understand why you don't have a career on Broadway.
Oh my goodness. Ouch. Oh.
I mean, you can act well, but...
oh my goodness. I used to be able to sing.
Really?
Yeah. Was it really that bad?
I don't know. My hearing's going on me, Bob. I can't tell,
goodness.
really.
I wasn't talking about that performance. I was just saying,
Yeah.
what did you do before?
I
This is new info.
I was in choir all the way through high school. I was in swing choir, which is basically Glee Club. So
Oh, wow.
if you think I struggle with singing, you should watch me dance.
Yeah, I can't do
Really
any of
bad.
those things, so...
Yeah, acting definitely was my forte in the performing arts,
Nice.
acting and writing. But
I did-
anyway,
I
Yeah.
did a fair amount of acting in high school. I was in several plays there and really enjoyed it, but didn't really do anything afterwards. I know you used to do a lot of stuff with your kids
mhm.
when we lived back in Illinois.
Yeah, we would do the Christmas Carol Readers Theater every year, and that was a lot of fun. Although you know what, like they're doing right around the corner from us is the Long Beach Playhouse, and every year they do the Christmas Carol, which is supposed to be fantastic, but I just don't think I can watch a Christmas Carol again. How many
Did you
hundreds
guys-
of times have I been through that story?
Yeah, I was gonna say you
Yeah.
probably got tired of it. Yeah.
And of course, I've also been through Star Wars hundreds of times and don't get sick of watching it. So I don't know.
Well,
It's Mr. Dickens.
we're kind of excited because you guys know where Evermore is in relationship to my house, right?
Yeah,
Evermore's
Evermore
gone out.
was, right.
Yeah.
Never
But down
been.
in that same area, so like 15 minutes from my house, they're opening up building and opening up a really nice theater.
Oh,
And there's a lot of good theater productions out here. So Julie and I have season passes starting in January.
that's
So
great.
we'll get to see all kinds of fun performances. Really great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We saw, by the way, recently, and by the way, if you're here for learning, like this is our end of the year special. So,
Yeah. We might get to
we'll
learning
get to
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
We
Feel free to
usually do a reflection. Of
we
some
will,
kind.
and we'll reflect at some point. But this is a little bit reflective. Is we likewise subscribe to two different packages, and one of them is in downtown Long Beach, and they bring in like the touring companies of various Broadway shows.
Yeah.
And recently we saw Come From Away, which
Mm.
I would not have chosen to buy just because I knew that it was a musical about September 11th.
Oh wow.
And but I would not have bought it if it wasn't part of that package. And we thought it was absolutely spectacular, really amazing, very moving. What it actually is the story of a little island, I think, like off of Newfoundland, in Canada, where when they shut down all of the air traffic, one of the planes diverted, and so there were several hundred people who were stuck there for 4 or 5 days. And so that's what the show is all about, is the people welcoming these people in, and of course some conflict emerges and all of that kind of stuff. But it was very, very good. So if you get a chance
Interesting.
to see that, actually, you know what?
What's it called again?
It's called Come From Away, and I believe on Apple TV they did kind of like Disney Plus did with Hamilton. They recorded the Broadway cast, and so you could just watch it there. And
Okay.
I highly recommend it. Yeah, really,
Interesting.
really.
I
Very
will put that
powerful.
on the list. That's
Very
a good
powerful.
break. Show
Yeah.
if I can watch it.
So
Yeah.
we're doing a fun thing tomorrow. We're going to go up to something called Brickfest Live at the Delta Center.
Sounds Lego-y.
It is very Lego-y, all kinds of life-size Lego versions of things. And there's a pit that has 1 million Legos in it that kids can go and jump in and play. We're not going to do that, but it'll be fun to watch.
That sounds like it would hurt.
Yeah, I was just thinking that'd
Yeah,
be painful.
So maybe they
Maybe they're the
walk in
squishy
without
ones?
shoes. I don't know how they do it, but
Yeah.
maybe they have tables set up. We'll find out.
It's like
Anyway,
their punishment, kids' punishment for leaving Legos all the time for adults to step on.
it's a retribution.
Here, throw in there. Go in there.
So, Jake, are you getting snow out by you, or is it?
We did today. Yes.
Did ya?
I mean, it's probably going to be melted within the next day because we're right around the 34-degree Fahrenheit range. But yes, it snowed today. It was great. I annoyed the kids to wake them up with Christmas music.
no.
Specifically, it's beginning to look like Christmas song when we saw the snow. But no, it looked great this morning, and now it's still around.
I don't know if you guys heard, but the inventor of the wind chill factor died recently. He was 84, but he felt like 64.
I was bracing for it. I felt it coming. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Dana, I've actually had a delightful week because I have been pretending like I'm retired like you are. I took
Good.
an extra week of vacation, and it's been really nice. As you can see behind me, because now we have video.
Yeah, your walls painted.
Yeah, I am transforming my office into the tiki bar it was always destined to be. So next time we record, it'll be all cleaned up. We'll look very tiki.
So today's Friday that we're recording this.
Yeah.
Did it take you the week to paint that?
You know what? It took me 2 solid days. I mean, I wasn't painting for 2 days.
Yeah, you said it
But-
was multiple coats.
Yeah,
which,
took
with that
4
color,
coats.
it needs it.
It took
Yeah.
4 coats. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's a very, very dark blue. So, but that's been a fun project to sink my teeth into, which is nice. Yeah.
There's something satisfying about doing a project like that. It's like, you get it done, you go, wow, this is something I can look at every day.
Yeah.
I also redid the stairs in our garage recently, where the original stairs were there leading from the garage to the house. And I used the Tyvek.
Oh,
So
nice.
the original
Mhm.
stairs were there and they're kind of beat up and everything, but by replacing it with Tyvek, they look great and they're going to last a long time. So
Yeah, that's great.
Nice.
One of my other resolutions on this break was to finally put together an earthquake survival kit.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
there was that 7.0 earthquake off of San Francisco that
Yep.
caused the tsunami warning, and that was kind of a wake up call for me. Like, I should take this seriously. And so I was, I asked my friend ChatGPT. I'm starting to segue into the learning stuff. I asked my friend ChatGPT what I should put into the kit, and she gave me this nice long list, which was great. And then I went to Amazon to start putting, to buying the stuff I needed to put that together. And then I realized, why don't I just search on Amazon for earthquake kit? And I got it like all in one package, like $150. Well, should we get into our reflection for the last year?
let's do it.
Sure.
I did a little bit of pre-reflection, and the biggest thing that the word for the year 2024 for me was change. Just so much change, and change in work situation, change with us losing like a really critical member of our team at work, and then Dana left too.
Oh, and then Dana left.
Thank you.
No, I'm
much.
talking about Dana. And a bunch of people wound up leaving, so that was sad, and hard to lose those relationships, or not lose those relationships, but change the nature of those
the
relationships.
dynamics.
Yeah.
And then just how much the world of corporate learning is in the process of changing, and we've been talking about it all year. And
Mhm.
I hardly think that we've seen the end of it. I think we're still figuring it out. I sure have been impressed with some of the latest LLM advances that I'm seeing, both from OpenAI and from Google.
Yeah.
The stuff that Google is doing with
The
DeepMind.
quantum chip.
Well, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Quantum Chip and Gemini. Gemini's. Yeah.
Gemini and
Yeah.
it's getting to the point now where I feel comfortable, like, asking my ChatGPT friend, I think it's Amber is the voice that I have, I can't remember, asking Amber what I should put in a earthquake preparedness kit. That's pretty safe, but I feel safe in general asking it for factual information that it's not going to hallucinate. Like, it feels like
Yeah.
that's gotten really cleaned up. It's just as accurate as it is when you search on Google, because it's probably what it's doing on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel really good about that. So still don't know exactly what the implications are gonna be. I'm kind of glad I'm towards the end of my career in corporate learning and not at the beginning of my career.
Mm-hmm.
Changes my reflection for the year. How about you guys?
I mean, I would say to piggyback on that real quick before I kind of jump into mine, but I would say regarding the change in the industry already, I'm like you said, it's been a hard year for many, many people, and I'm actually blown away of how many people have gone through those types of changes,
Yeah.
whether that they themselves lost their current role or they're changing from a different role to another, or they lost someone from the team. It just seems to be more prevalent than I have seen it in the last couple of years. I know we always go in waves, but this is just definitely one of those years. But yeah, so I would say I'm on a different note. Like one of the things that I did some pre-reflection before. There's two things, but I'll go one with a little, I'll say happier note. I ended up, I got re-injured, or I re-injured my IT band sometime in April this year. And whenever I have it, it creates a shooting pain in my lower back to my hip area. Like it's hard to walk just because, well, I mean, you want to walk, you need to walk because it feels better after, but to get going, it hurts. A lot of it's from the sitting, even though when I have a standing desk, if you're not moving, you're still stationary. So anyway, I re-injured it and I got so upset because I went through physical therapy and everything else 2 years prior. And I said, all right, enough's enough. So happy thing that I've done and what I have kind of reflected on is the importance of constant movement. I know this is not earth-shattering different things, but I decided that constant movement this year is going to be my goal following that April injury. So to this date, I have my number up here. What's my number? So for those that have an Apple Watch and the Move Fitness rings, I have achieved my Move ring 228 days in a row.
Oh, wow,
for
that's
you.
great.
Yeah, so I, no matter what,
Of course, you
even
have
if
it
I
set on
can't
200
necessarily
calories, right, Jake?
what's that?
It's set on 200 calories. So.
Yeah, I have not changed my calorie. Yeah, so now that
So
on
it's still
Apple,
at 50
you
is
can,
what
Still
you're
at
saying.
50.
I think it's set at 780. That's mine.
780,
But,
that's good. Yeah.
I was able to achieve that 228 days in a row, but I got a treadmill that I have downstairs in our basement, so I do constant every morning, 15 minutes, and then I get something in the midday or afternoon, and then my normal workouts. But that was one of my goals. Wasn't my goal when I started the year. It was just something in the middle. But I have seen night and day difference. And then when I add on rolling every single day, foam rolling every single day,
Yeah.
I haven't been waking up sore. I haven't been waking up like anything hurting. It's been great. That's one of my reflections, if you just keep it going. Even if I miss the goal one day, but it's like as long as I'm 95% of the time moving.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, Jake, and as you get older, as I'm experiencing, they say one of the best things you can do is be really active. And so for me, as you know, I do a lot of the biking when the weather's good, but I also have been working on building out a home gym in our basement. So I've got a weight machine that I bought. This Monday, we've got a really nice commercial grade recumbent being delivered. And we got a treadmill and a rowing machine. So every morning I get out and either ride the bike or walk. And then in the evenings, I'll go down and spend another half hour or 45 minutes doing the other thing. It's part of not letting your muscles deteriorate as you get older. Not that I'm, halfway dead, but I probably am about halfway dead.
We all are.
3/4 of the way dead.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
anyway, so for me, my word is transition, right? And transition, part of that for me is making sure that as I transition into retirement, that I maintain a good quality of life. And part of that is exercise and nutrition. It's all the things, right? Good sleep. It's all the things that we talk about that make good learners. All of those things also enhance good quality of life. Stress management is the other one
Hmm.
of the four that I didn't mention. So yeah, for me, the whole transition has been my word for the year, and my reflection is because there's a lot of things in addition to the health and trying to keep busy. I've been doing some volunteer service. I've been asked to design a 10-week course for a local community group. And
Wow.
so I'm in the process of designing curriculum for that, which is fun. Um, so I'm doing volunteer work and working on health and all kinds of other things and then there's also the financial aspect of it. And congratulations to Julie and I. We just met with our financial planner and we got a pay raise for this year, which is awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Uh, so I mean, there's a lot of things you have to deal with during a transition, right? And
Yeah.
from being employed to being retired, and there's a lot of concerns. Right? There's a lot of people who retire and they lose their social connections, and they don't take care of themselves, and so they end up living not a whole lot longer after they
Mm.
retire.
Mhm.
So that's not going to be the case with me because I'm actively pursuing the right things to do for a transition.
And you got a growing family that continues to grow, that will
We
continue to
yeah,
come
we
by the house.
We welcomed, I think listeners know, but we welcomed 2 new grandchildren into our family. And every Wednesday we get Sadie, which is our local granddaughter, and she keeps us busy on every Wednesday. We go, and when her dad comes to pick her up at the end of the day, we're going, there you go. And then we crash.
Yeah. Speaking of a transition, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So I did have one more.
Yeah.
And if I were to put it into a phrase, or a couple words, I would say appreciate the little. And so for me, and as you guys know, and I'll be open and share because I've talked to my wife about this. My wife was diagnosed with breast cancer this year.
Mhm.
Thankfully, it was stage 0, caught it early, did all the mammogram, the ultrasound, caught it, and it's fast. Within a second, your life can change.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's just appreciate the little. So thankfully, she's she's on week 6 as of recording. She's great, all
Awesome.
good, moving on. She's actually counting down the days until she has to go back at work. I don't know if she's excited about it really. It's more of the I can't believe I have to go back to work type of thing.
She's excited that she's well enough to go back to work. It just doesn't mean that she. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. She's
Yeah.
happy that she can do it, but at the same time, she's like, oh man,
Oh.
now the next 2 weeks is just a normal holiday break now. It's no
Yeah.
longer me off. But yeah, appreciate the little. When I was off with her during the first 2 weeks of recovery after surgery, it ended up becoming more of a mental break for both of us. It was weird. The first week, of course, for her was more the physical recovery. And then
Yeah.
the second week was more of the mental recovery for both her and I, because just the previous 2 months prior were just, your brain went off in completely irrational ways, of course, as you can imagine,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
especially before the diagnosis, before we heard the official diagnosis. So it was just a nice recovery. So all good. Appreciate the little. And then I would say the last thing about that, which I thought was great, speaking of friends and family, I wrote down one of my favorite things of this year was going out to see Dana and the family out in Utah.
Yeah.
So
that was a lot of fun.
That was really
great.
fun.
Surprising
That was very
too.
fun.
And Dana shut the door on our face.
When
when we
Dana shut the
entered
door,
the door.
I will remember that look on his face for the rest of my life.
So
that
good.
was
Very
so
fun.
great. And Julie did such a good job lying. I think you better be worried, Dana, that
She reworded things, I think, as I look back and reflect on that.
I'm sure. Being deceptive, and she was good and sneaky along with us to keep the surprise going.
So if we're doing a second one, I just
Yeah.
want to, as I reflect, thinking about the podcast, I'm looking now at the list of guests that we've had starting, last January.
Yeah.
And it's really an amazing list of people. right? We had
Mm-hmm.
Lauren and Megan and Declan, and we had Noah and Jason True and Keith Keating and Eric, and we had Bob Mosier and Kathy, Lisa Christensen, and Veronica was on, and Britt and Deb, and I mean the list goes on and on, right? I mean that's we had Ben Chambers, we had
Yeah.
JB recently, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we've got more coming. Really, fantastic guests. So when I think about my transition, one of the things that I wanted to make sure I did was kind of keep in touch with the industry. And by hanging out with you guys and bringing on all these wonderful guests, I know I'm not on top of it as you guys are, but I feel like I'm being brought along, and it's just amazing to be able to interact with that great group of people
Absolutely.
and you guys.
Yeah. It's almost like we have a platform. We have a podcast that people want to be on. That's so nice.
Took 7 years, but we got it.
Isn't it amazing? We've been doing this for 7 years.
I know. Again with the
It
feeling
is.
old. Again with the
Yeah.
feeling old. Yeah.
Do you think we'll make 10?
I think we'll make 10. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's right around the corner too.
Yeah.
But I think we'll make it. Yeah. No, I think
If we
it's
do that, then we really need to do a live where we're all together. If we make 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do a live show. That would be fun.
And we should maybe try one of the things you tried before, Bob, where we get a bunch of our listeners and we say, let's all get together at Disney.
Yeah. That would be really fun.
That'd be fun.
That
we
would
could
be
rent
super
out we
fun.
could rent out a facility, like a auditorium, maybe sell 10 tickets, and then we'll be good.
Yeah. Jake, it's more of a video cast, more of a YouTube show that Jake and I like to watch, which is Screen Crush. They usually do really good breakdowns of
Yeah.
Yeah.
the genre stuff that we do. And
Yeah.
they've been doing a live show, and it seems like it's not going very well because I was just watching today. They're like, we're completely redesigning the live show. It's going to be like Pee-wee Herman. It's going to be like Pee-wee's Playhouse now. And
I
I'm
saw
oh
that.
did you see that?
Yeah, that was after the Superman trailer
Yes,
breakdown.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
oh, my goodness.
So what do you
anyway,
think
we
about
should
the
be fun.
Superman coming out? Do you think that's going to be good? I
I'm
mean,
excited about it.
I have high hopes with
It
with
does have
anything
a
James
much more
Gunn-
modern feel. Yeah.
Yeah, with anything with him directing, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
People pulling out their cell phones and
Yeah.
taking video of something in the sky. It's a bird.
Mhm.
It's a plane.
Well, hey, I do have one learning related resolution.
Yeah.
That is going to shock you guys. I think this might be the year, with some conditions, that I let go of my hatred of gamification.
Whoa.
And here's the reason is because we were talking about this in the green room before we started. So I'll be going to Japan for the Star Wars celebration in April. And I thought, I should learn a little bit of Japanese. I know like
Konnichiwa.
nothing. That's like all I know. And sushi. And so I thought, well, this might be a good opportunity to play with Duolingo. I'd never really played with Duolingo before. So I started doing Duolingo with Japanese. And I have found, there's two big things with Duolingo that they do. They do gamification out the wazoo. It's like very, very gamified and experience points and levels and all that kind of stuff. They also do incredible, like, mobile game social engineering to get you to spend money on it. I mean, just over the top. But I've realized that as long as I know that my main motivation is to actually learn the language, that's my goal. I am finding the gamification techniques actually to be helpful for me. I think that they've been fun and they've been encouraging me to keep doing it. So that's why I say with reservations. I think it can be used effectively.
And so is that gamification, or is that just a form of game design?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could be.
Because are you earning badges and all of
You
those
are.
types of things?
You are. And
okay.
remember, gamification is putting game elements on something that is not a game.
Right.
And,
Mhm.
Essentially this is not a game. It's learning a language. It's doing lessons in
Yeah.
in language. But if you guys haven't played with it, I recommend you take a look at it because they do some really good, durable techniques. It's very interesting to see how the lessons go out, how they do a lot of spaced repetition, spaced practice, and yeah, I'm finding it really useful.
I have played with it, and I do
Yeah.
think that they do a really good job in terms of the design.
Yeah.
I think the only question I would still have, and I mean, you just mentioned this, but the gamification can work when there is a strong sense of relevancy and meaning connected to it to you as the individual learner.
Yeah. Right.
So in this case,
Yeah.
you have a strong purpose to develop any fundamental level of the language because you're going to a trip.
Yeah.
And I know I've had this discussion with somebody else at one point about gamification specifically in Duolingo, because more often than not, when people do use it, they're using it for either a trip or some type of true reason to develop, to build their skills in language. So I think it can be used, but I think what's hard about it, of how to make it so strong, like developing a language, because again, I think that's one that's more common, or people really, I want to build it anyway. So that would be my only. I could see where you're going, but I'm still leaning on the other way.
Fair enough. Well, we'll
With
see.
it. Yeah.
I'm considering it. We'll see. Maybe
Hey.
just a little more research, a little more experimentation.
Yeah, experiment, and then if you can convince us, and build that, I'm all for it. I'm here to open my do what we did last year. Change. Let's
There we
change this year.
I also think there's the element, and this is true of a lot of design. What's the content? What's the nature of the content? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some content, like language, I could see how that could be very conducive, because you're trying to do some repetition, and then you're trying to build on the repetition. But there are other things that gamification may not work. So there's an element of what's the content.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So Dana,
Well-
what about you? Do you got a goal?
Yeah.
I lost my dictionary, so I have no words. Sorry.
I got a goal for you, Damon.
Oh, just continue the transition. It's been fun because the first several months were just kind of decompressing, right? And I went into, I've had a couple of times when I visited the doctor, and my blood pressure is like right on target,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things are right on target. Whereas used to be, Bob stressed me out a lot, so my blood pressure would be higher.
I don't believe
So the first several months were just kind of decompressing, and now I'm just kind of transitioning into, okay, how do I construct a healthy and meaningful quality of life going forward? I've got in the back of my head several potential goals, but I've not committed to them yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
great. Well, you
I'm-
got a
I'm-
week.
yeah,
got 11
You got a
I was thinking
11
January 1st is coming up. I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So
So I have
maybe-
to say, the whole time that you were saying right on target, I kept thinking in my
Stay on
head,
target.
stay on target.
stay
stay on
on target. Stay
target.
on target.
Too fast.
So, all right, I'll close mine out. Mine, I might have shared this actually at one point, but mine is around data and analytics and statistics.
Yeah.
So, took a little bit of a Coursera course at one point. I'm going into a more advanced one next, but trying to figure out ways to. I'm working with actually a lot of our people analytics individuals and who are experts in that space, and then trying to see how could I apply it on experimentation and so forth. I got a long way to go though.
Should we have any of them on our podcast as guests? Think about
We
that.
could. There might be
Yeah.
a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of blend of how to think about using that type of data, specifically on the people level. It's a lot of data, but also how to use that to then correlate to the development training that you're providing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. That might be a great topic.
Yeah, that would pair really well. I mean, we've been doing deep dive on how we measure learning, actually
Right.
come up with a real ROI this last year, and it's only going to get more intense next year. I think that's one of the positive changes that's coming is we've talked about it many times, but more of
Yeah.
the focus on actually delivering performance change as opposed to just going through the motions. So that's
So
great stuff.
I've got a question for you, the two of you, that I just don't know the answer to. So it'd be interesting, especially since you both work for different companies. With the onset of all the Gen AI tools, are you seeing a reduction in staff and an increase in demand for what you're doing, or an increase in the demand of quality for what you're doing, or is it kind of growing at the same time? My question makes sense.
Well, we're not seeing less staff as a result of Gen AI.
Yeah.
And honestly, yeah, I mean, not seeing more like, hey, you should be coming out with higher quality because you have Gen AI. I'm not getting that vibe at all.
I'm
I
not
feel
either.
like it's still early days on, are we actually getting the value from this technology? I think we all believe it's coming. But
I was going to say, the reason for my question is because I remember about a year ago when we were having these types of discussions, there was a lot of concern about people in our industry losing their jobs because, AI was coming into place. I'm just curious if that's playing out at all.
honestly, I
I
haven't
mean,
seen
I'm
it
not.
that much.
I'm not seeing it. I'm sure maybe other listeners will probably argue the opposite.
Mhm.
But I would say, from what I have experienced and also explored from a research exploration standpoint, there's a lot on efficiency and value. So how could it improve the efficiency of your work processes, your workflow, and then that allows you to free up space to more important things, I would say. Get rid of the manual admin tasks that are in your everyday. How's it free you up to do, I don't know, more apprenticeship and more things that are higher allow you to do more higher quality work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're still, on my end, I just think we're still far away from really removing people out of the equation, honestly.
Good. Yeah.
Yep. Well, boys, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought this would be a quick one, and here we go. We've
Already,
been keeping
my
these people
goodness.
for 35 minutes and a half. So,
And I didn't share this at the start, but we should have prompted people before. I'm not editing this thing.
you're just gonna dump it.
I'm going to
Blast
put it
it
up.
out?
and
Sweet.
There you go.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad I
Well,
didn't curse.
we didn't comment. We didn't comment at all about us wearing Santa hats. So
We do
you
look
guys
good.
know what Santa's sleigh cost?
What?
No.
Nothing. It was on the house.
Nice. Well, everybody, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
And-
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Life Day, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Guys, it's been great. Another great year of the Learning Geeks, and ready to do it again in 2025.
Great list of
And-
guests coming up.
Yeah,
Great
great
of
list.
guests coming up. So looking forward to that. To our listeners, thank you as always for being with us this entire year. Make sure that you like this, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure you leave us comments. Now that we're on YouTube, I think I can say, make sure you smash the subscribe button and hit the little bell next to the button to be notified when we post something new. All of the ways that you can help grow the Learning Geeks, which then lets us get even better guests, and someday we'll monetize this. I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
figure it
and
out.
don't forget about, we're still on all the other places you can get your podcast.
We are. You can still listen. You can still listen when you're going for a run, which is when I've been listening to us. So, because I forget
Nice.
what we talk about anyway. Got to run, guys. Bye,
All right.
everybody.
Thanks much,
All right.
everybody. Looking
See ya,
forward to
everybody.
a great 2025.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Al.
Mental health.